guys, it's Horsey Steph, and I am back with a Horse Trainer Reacts to Heartland segment. So exciting. We are continuing to watch Season 1, Episode 4, and following Amy as she kind of gets to know Ben and his horse Red. I'm so excited to keep watching this episode with you. If you guys could go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe for more videos, that would mean so much to me. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on in and see how things keep progressing.
How much is Lisa Snowman paying us? And it's not even just about the horse. There's a job at Briar Ridge. Ty's gonna take it if we don't get rid of Ben.
There's just so much drama in this episode. It seems really unnecessarily drama-filled. Ben has just kind of destroyed that whole fragile balance of everyone getting along at Heartland. And hopefully that starts to calm down. I think kicking him out is not an appropriate first step, since the biggest issue is that nobody has actually talked to him about how he's not doing work, how he's not adapting to their training methods and learning from them. None of the expectations they had for when he came has he followed through on, and they haven't even told him, like, look, you need to follow through on these things. They've just basically ignored it and gotten upset about it and gotten frustrated, and that's not appropriate. You should always warn first, explain what the problem is before you go and, you know, get really upset about somebody that maybe Ben was never told these expectations. Obviously, Lisa knows, she's the one that sent him here, but who knows if Ben has any idea what was expected of him. He's just being passed around, right? This is literally the most dysfunctional, awkward dinner ever. Nobody is talking because everyone is so frustrated at Ben, at each other. It's really too bad. I think they just need to learn how to communicate better and talk better. A lot of these issues are so solvable with just setting clear expectations, having everyone on the same page, everyone know, like, what are Ben's responsibilities, what can he and can he do, is he required to take some sort of lessons, help with training, etc. That should all be outlined, and then nobody's going to be so upset. And if he doesn't follow through on whatever his expectations are, then obviously he needs to leave. But if there are no clear expectations, they can't just be upset because he came in and did things like normal at this place, just like he's been doing them at home forever.
What's going on? No one said a word.
Of course, Mallory is the one that wants to break the silence because she just talks. And some of that is that she has no filter, but also I think Mallory is very uncomfortable with silence. And so she wants to fill that space with talking if nobody else is going to.
Any communication?
That was a low ball jab, Jack.
It's for you. It's Valentine.
Alright, so it seems like that job at Briar Ridge was quite real, was a real offer. I'm curious how that kind of progresses and whether Ty pursues that or not. I think it has advantages, of course, and it's ultimately his decision. I don't feel like Briar Ridge has his back like Heartland will. I think he's only being given that job because Ashley has a thing for him, wants to cause drama with Amy, wants to kind of steal him away from Amy and wants him around. So once he upsets Ashley, which is gonna happen eventually, she's easily upset and irritated, he'll probably be kicked to the curb. So I would consider that offer, but I would be kind of very hesitant because I just don't think there's job security there like there is at Heartland. I don't think they care about him like they do at Heartland. But it's his right to, you know, explore all of his options.
Shoveling manure might seem like a dream job to you, but I have other aspirations.
Yeah, but you came with the expectation that you would work, and you've done no work. Cleaning your own horse's stall is like one little thing you could do to actually contribute to the ranch. Now, of course, like I said earlier, nobody has actually told him that he needs to be working and what he needs to be doing. But if that were clear, that he had come to work, this wouldn't be so crazy to him, this notion that he has to clean his own horse's stall.
Lou says he doesn't even have a real home. All he's got is Red.
I get that we should be feeling bad for Ben because he does have kind of a crappy situation. He has no one, he's abandoned. But I also think that doesn't change the fact that he needs to be more mature, responsible, fulfill the duties he was supposed to fulfill by coming to Heartland. It's not a vacation. They could have put him in a hotel. They have money. He's here to learn and work, and he's not following through on that. So I would be talking to him and making those expectations clear, which they still haven't done.
I've heard a lot of sob stories. When you get to the part about the rich kid who only has his horse,
I get Ty's point of view too, because I think Ty probably had a much rougher growing up in kind of that physical way. Obviously, Ben is lacking in the emotional department. He doesn't have a real family. Nobody wants to take care of him or have him around. But I suspect Ty was quite poor growing up. Stuff like having a place to live, a roof over your head, food to eat, are things that Ty values that Ben really takes for granted, as does Amy, I think. So I see why Ty might just not have any sympathy for him in this situation. I would probably have trouble having sympathy too if I were in Ty's position and looking through Ty's lens at this situation. But again, so much of it is just they haven't set the expectation, and therefore Ben isn't meeting the expectation. I am surprised that Ben can't really ride the trot. I would have thought they would have selected an actor that rode better than him. And admittedly, they have gotten by so far with really not showing us much riding, but his had these classic chicken wings trotting around, and he looked very unstable, kind of bouncing around. That surprises me. I would have really thought they picked somebody that knew how to ride. So I'm curious, how long he's gonna be in this show, and whether this is just a bit role and they didn't need him to ride because he was only gonna be here for this one episode, or if he's really gonna last in this show and stay longer. Because as a show jumper, I would think at some point you have to portray him jumping fences, which does take a lot more skill than I'm seeing just from that trot. That looked real messy. At this point, Ben is frustrated about his horse's stopping problem, so he's actually causing it. He's not even waiting for his horse to start to want to veer out or suck back. He's already grabbing his face to try to keep him straight. And then he's, kicking and whipping him to get him to go forward. He's creating all this unnecessary pressure at the base of the fence. Again, before Red has actually done anything that warrants it, which is just making Red more anxious, more worried about jumping, and more confused about, is he even supposed to go over it? I don't even know that Red understands the task at hand anymore. It seems like he's coming up to this fence and just, I don't know what to do, panicking. And Ben is definitely making that issue significantly worse instead of trying to make it any better. Which is too bad. I mean, I feel bad for the horse that there's no clarity in this training. Again, just excessively harsh and no clarity. If you're gonna be big and try to, beat a horse over a fence, you should at least give them some direction so they know they're supposed to go over it. And he's not even meeting that minimum requirement. All right, I mean, I'm kind of glad that he came off. I hope he didn't get hurt, but I think he needed that kind of wake-up call of I can't continue doing what I'm doing because I'm gonna get hurt and it's not getting you anywhere. I mean, I think a lot of people get kind of stuck in a rut. They don't get anywhere, they're not making any progress, but they aren't overly worried about that. They keep doing what they're doing because it's what they know. I think something like a fall does tend to knock a little sense into somebody and be like, wow, I really need to reassess what I'm doing and make some progress because this is just going to get me hurt and it's clearly making no progress. But hopefully he's okay. I mean, I don't think that was a horrific fall. He fell on kind of soft grass. He's wearing a helmet. The problem with rearing and coming off on rears is the risk of the horse coming over on top of you and crushing you. But just coming off a rear on your own, I doubt you would get like seriously injured, especially wearing a helmet and you're not on like hard ground like concrete or asphalt. And you can see that Red is concerned about him. He didn't leave. He was just standing there quietly, exactly like you would expect a horse that, you know, wasn't panicky, didn't like spook and dump him, was merely extremely confused about why he was getting all this pressure put on him and didn't know what answer to give. I think Mallory did do the right thing. If she didn't have any cell phone or couldn't call anybody, you know, leaving Ben and running back to the barn to get help was a good approach. Obviously, if somebody is injured, your first thing would be to stay with them if possible. But Mallory is a kid, she doesn't know what to do, so getting help is a good option. Again, I mean, the worst thing to do is to just abandon whoever got hurt. So she went to get help. Would have wished she'd pulled out a phone and called, but I don't even know that Mallory has a phone. Thus far, we've never seen it. And I know this show is a little older, so I don't think when this show was filmed, like, every single kid had a phone, like nowadays. Now you see, like, an 8-year-old without a phone. It's pretty shocking, right? But times change. I know this show has been around for quite a while. I'm glad Ben is fine. I mean, obviously he's upset. I'm sure that he's not feeling at his best. I mean, falling off always hurts, but I'm glad that he didn't really suffer any injuries, probably just some bruises and mostly a really bruised ego, I'm sure. What got into him is you were extremely rough and the horse didn't know what to freaking do anymore.
Where's Red?
All right, so at some point between Ben falling off and Mallory going to get Amy, Red's wandered off. I mean, it's on the property he lives on. He didn't seem upset in any way, shape, or form. I'm sure because Ben was just laying on the ground, he wandered off to eat some grass. I don't think he'll be hard to find at all. I love this barn entrance. I mean, it is so gorgeous. Like, goals. Hashtag goals. I would love to have a barn in a facility that is as drop dead gorgeous as that. Obviously, I mean, it doesn't help the horses any. It would be purely for my enjoyment because I like pretty fancy things, but that's lovely.
She had to leave, but I'm here.
I would, Val, make an appointment to meet Ty and discuss this potential job opportunity with him and then leave. It kind of seems like Ashley convinced her mom to not be around so that she had to do all of the, like, introduction and this is the job and all of that stuff with Ty just to get more time with him. Again, this job opportunity really seems like Ashley begged her mom to find something Ty could do at the property so that Ty could be around and Ashley could spend more time with him and steal him away from Amy, which is not a situation I would want to get into. I wouldn't take this job.
Did you tell her the part about the probation?
Not a problem.
It's not a problem because Ashley wants him around, and so she's convinced her mom to have him around. I mean, we already have kind of seen that Ashley's a spoiled rich kid, so I'm sure her mom kind of does whatever she wants. And as long as Ty is basically dependable and does the job as outlined, I don't think Val really cares whether he's hired or not and whether he works there, as long as it makes Ashley happy and she, you know, doesn't cause more fits and more problems for Val, because I'm sure she's very high maintenance and difficult. It's definitely quite a large facility.
And I could show you how to ride. After that, who knows?
It seems like there's a lot of opportunity for growth in this role for Ty. Ashley's promising him that he can kind of move up. She can teach him a lot about horses, teach him to ride. And he can kind of move from just being a stable hand to probably a groom, maybe an exercise rider, get eventually to like just doing a little bit more skilled labor. I could see how that could be exciting to Ty if he really does want to stay in the horse world. Obviously, he could get that at Heartland as well. He is already learning to ride there. He's learned a lot about taking care of horses. But I mean, this job could have more to offer him in some ways. But again, I'd be very concerned because I don't think Ashley is going to make a reliable employer, and essentially she's the one that is responsible for whether he has a job or not.
Lisa Stillman has a house in the south of France. She goes there for months at a time.
Yeah, I think if Ty really doesn't want to have to hang around Ben all the time, Ben could become a very permanent fixture at the ranch. Obviously, he's driving everyone up the walls, so they would need to really talk to him and fix all of that because nobody wants to live like that. But he has nowhere to go, and Lisa's not going to rush back for him. So he could be there quite long term. If that's a big problem for Ty, finding another place to work could be a good option. I don't think that Ben will ever replace Ty, especially since he's getting no work done. There would be no advantage of hiring Ben over Ty when Ty actually does a lot around the barn and Ben gets absolutely nothing done and really just creates more work for everyone else. So honestly, Ben being around should give Ty more job security at Heartland because they especially need the extra help when they're all running around doing things for Ben and, you know, taking care of his horse because he is basically incompetent and unwilling to take care of his own horse.
Let me show you where you'll be staying.
I hadn't realized this is a live-in job. That would probably make me more worried than if this were just a full-time job and he were gonna still live at Heartland, do like some morning chores there, and then go to Briar Ridge as like his day job. I don't think I'd want to move into Briar Ridge because, again, as I've said this whole segment, I don't think there's any job security there. I think on a whim, Ashley could get upset at him and be like, you need to leave. You no longer have a job. You can't stay here anymore, and he'll get kicked to the curb. And I think moving out of Heartland is kind of a big step. I would hope they would welcome him back with open arms, but you can't guarantee that. You are giving up a safe, secure place to live. So I hope he doesn't take the job, but I guess we'll kind of see what he does in the next segment. See what choices he makes. I personally think because this episode is just filled with drama, he will take the job and just create more drama for the rest of this episode because we certainly haven't had enough, right? Oh my goodness, there is so much drama in this episode. It is absolutely crazy. I'm really glad that Ben finally had some consequences for how he's treating Red, so I'm curious to see if that changes at all in the next segment of this episode. And then we also have Ty potentially moving out and working at Briar Ridge instead. Curious to see how he goes there. Definitely adding the drama, and yeah, we'll see what decision he makes. And then Lewis finally found out that her grandpa is really sabotaging her relationship with her dad, Tim. So I'm curious to see what happens there. I'm sure she's going to pursue that relationship with Tim, but at some point she's going to have to talk to her grandpa, and that's just going to explode. So much drama, so many arguments, and then of course you have everyone that hates Ben and wants him out, even though nobody is telling him what he's doing wrong. So I am so curious to keep watching this episode and see how it all goes. Make sure you guys tune in. I react to Heartland every Tuesday and Friday. New segments go up at 5 p.m. And if you miss any, there's a playlist in the description box down below, which has all of my Horse Trainer Reacts to Heartland segments. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.